Chapter 6. One of the Hierarchy. "And how do you feel this morning?" he asked as soon as I sat down. "May I ask something?" "You may ask," he smiled. "What happened last night?" "What do you mean by that?" He smiled faintly. "You must know what I mean." "Oh, you mean what had happened on the inner planes? I was out of my body and know nothing." Told him that I did not sleep. He said that he also did not sleep, and added that he usually sleeps only for 20 minutes, not more than half an hour. I knew from L that the rest of the night he is in deep samadhi. Told him how fine I felt this morning and explained the meaning of the English expression keyed up, like strings of a musical instrument, which were given a few tunings to the keys to be able to respond to a higher pitch of a sound or note. He nodded. "It is like that," he said simply. I suspected that something unusual had happened, but as I did not feel anything at the time, so I thought I was mistaken. "Very wonderful things did happen yesterday and this morning." He said it slowly, looking out the window, but the physical vehicles cannot have any cognition of it. In the afternoon, I was alone with him. Elle was still busy with her proofs. He was seated cross-legged on the tatchet writing letters. When I came in, he gave me one of his faint smiles and continued to write. I waited for an opening, and when he sealed up 2 envelopes and looked up, I offered to post them on my way home. He nodded. "They must go today. Someone is in need of help." Then I told him what a relief it was for me to know that he belongs to the great white hierarchy. His sentence when we were returning from the Ganja, "We who are appointed to the service of mankind," gave me the clue. Hierarchy? He lifted his eyebrows. Clearly, he did not know what I meant. Though his English was very good, slightly biblical, perhaps because he had hardly any opportunity to practice it, he did not know every English expression. Besides, it was a Greek word at any rate. I explained what I knew from books about the great brotherhood and its function in the world to help with the evolution of mankind. He sat motionless, looking at me. His face was expressionless. I took a deep breath. How my heart was pounding. One cannot think clearly when this happens. I could see that he was listening with the utmost attention. "And who are they?" He glanced at me sideways with a stern expression. A swift feeling of terror came and went, but the abruptness of the question made me laugh. "Why are you laughing?" He looked hard at me. I leaned forward. "Because I do not need to answer this one. Here is one of its members right in front of me." He smiled. Then quite unexpectedly, he threw his head back and laughed his boyish laughter. How young he can look, I thought. How amazingly young and gay. "Yes," he said, still smiling, "but we usually do not mention these things. It is not done." He poised carefully and deliberately the point of the pen on the sheet of paper before him and continued to write. Great stillness was in the room, only the scraping of the pen, the swoosh of the ceiling fan, and the wild pounding of my heart. At last he finished, put the writing material into the recess, and reclined, stretching himself comfortably on his back and crossing his hands on the pillow supporting his head. I knew I could speak. Told him that I was doubting so much who he was, and if I should trust him. Now I know that I can, and I am glad. I brought a book with me, the Mahatma letters, and wanted to show it to him. Explained that it contained letters of the 2 great beings who inspired Madame Blavatsky, the founder of the Theosophical Society. They were in their physical bodies 80 years ago. Madame Blavatsky was trained by one of them, Master M, in Tibet for 12 years. One day, after a lecture on the subject of those letters, myself and 2 friends decided to see the originals which are preserved in the British Museum. On the 2nd of November 1956, we went to see them. Seated there in the hush of the reading room, reading the yellow pages of the original letters, I suddenly had a vision of high mountains covered with snow, deep valleys, and great solitude. I knew that once, long ago, I worked for those masters, and I pledged myself to work for them again. And placing 2 forefingers of my right hand on Master K.H.'s signature, as one does when swearing an oath, I offered myself forever, for always, and though I knew that one is not allowed to make any conditions, I said to him that, because I pledge myself completely, without any reserve of any kind, I feel that I have the right to ask for one thing. Don't let me forget it, ever anymore. For in this life I forget and lead a useless, empty life of the world, wasting my time. And now, Bhai Saheb, I will never be able to forget it, for I met you. Deep down, I feel there is no other way for me at all to go. As it is said in the Upanishad, I trust you now. I will not resist any more. Will try not to resist you consciously at any rate. Unconsciously, of course, I cannot know. I will take care of this, he said, with a strange, enigmatic smile. He closed his eyes. Do with me everything you deem necessary to make me fit for the work, because I well realize, as I am now, I am useless for the work you may want me to do. He turned to face me with a smile. I told you I was out of my body last night. All I can say is that you are being prepared for this work. Suddenly his face assumed the strange expression he always has when functioning on a different plane of consciousness, the bottomless look in his eyes, the inward look, which does not see things of this world. Do you remember your previous life? No. The reflection of endless infinitude in his eyes beyond space, divorced from time, seemed to penetrate right through my very being. But it must have been a bad one, because I came with bad tendencies into this one. We all have plenty of bad tendencies, he said, and then, as if speaking from very far away, his eyes completely veiled with a kind of blue mist, he added, very, very slowly, the time may come. I don't say that it'll come, but it may come, when you will have powers and will know many things. I said that I suspected I was evolving on the Hatha Yoga lines, because in this life, elderly as I am, my body could do all the exercises relatively easily without ever having learned them, and I love doing them. That's why you forget everything. Again, this young, boyish laughter. I knew what he had meant, but for some reason I felt hurt. Told him once, I remember, that he was afraid of clairvoyance, and if one is afraid, that I was afraid of clairvoyance, and if one is afraid of something, there could be a suspicion of a past memory of the unconscious, of something gone wrong. One is never afraid without a reason lurking behind it. To have any kind of powers can lead one astray. There was a time when I lived with this book, Mahatma Letters. I don't remember how often I read it, and I brought it with me to India. I took the book out of my handbag and opened it, showing him the pages where parts of the letters and signatures of the masters are reproduced. He took it, put on his reading glasses, and looked intently at Master M's letter, then turned the page slowly and looked intently at Master K.H.'s letter. His face bore a strange expression, very alert and as if listening. This one, he said, pointing to Master K.H.'s signature, this one is greater than the other. I was thinking that, for all the opinions I have heard, it seemed to be the reverse. L, who is an expert in graphology, when I told her about it, did not agree with his opinion. It seemed to her that Master M has more genius. But it is a well-known fact that from the spiritual point of view, it is not absolutely essential to be a genius. How many greatly spiritual people were great without being geniuses in the proper sense of the word? You told me that you understand that you will have many difficulties and are prepared to face them. So you do it from your own free will. Remember that. You will suffer injustice and will be hurt where it hurts most. where you are most afraid of being hurt. You do realize that. I said that I did. I knew what I was doing, but I also feel that I have no choice. Then he asked me why I pledged myself. Was it a vision? If you mean by a vision that I saw or heard something with my senses, no. But if you mean by a vision a clear mental image and a certitude without any possibility of doubt, then yes. This must be a link from a previous life, not necessarily the last. He said it thoughtfully, narrowing his eyes to a slit. Again, his face assumed this special expression which so fascinates and even slightly frightens me. 4th of November, 1961. Was thinking this morning that 7 years ago, on the 23rd of October, for the first time, I came to 50 Gloucester Place, the library of the Theosophical Society. I remember the door was painted green. It is still green today. 7 years later, also in October, I met my teacher. And on the 2nd of November, 1956, I went to see the originals of the Mahatma letters at the British Museum. Now, on the 2nd of November, is it just a coincidence? According to what he told me, something was done to affect my evolution. Strange, or is it? Slept badly and restlessly, but it was much better than the previous night. The effect of whatever it might have been seemed to wear off on the physical plane at least. When reading a book, sitting on the veranda after lunch, quite out of the blue, a strange sweetness pervaded my heart. It was such a subtle feeling. As soon as I tried to analyze it, it kept vanishing, reappearing again, peeping out from behind my thoughts. This feeling, so light, so elusive, had nothing to do with my environment, and it had nothing to do with him either, at least not directly. It goes beyond him to something infinitely sweet, infinitely dear, closer to me than breathing. I caught myself thinking, yes, that's what it is, and it is just like the beginning of falling in love. Falling in love with what? 6th of November. How does one get love, Bhai Saheb? How does one get humility? How do you smell the scent of flowers? There is no effort from the part of the flower, neither from your side. You just smell it effortlessly. Elle told me that since she knows you, she always sleeps well. I hardly slept for the last 3 nights. The way of training is different. The time will come when you will say, I did not sleep for years. Can one see prana? Yes, but not with the physical eyes. In dhyana, the flow of prana is reversed, but not so in sleep. Reversed in the sense that all the sensorial energies are introverted, absorbed in the heart, instead of being extroverted. It is a movement within, instead of without, as in the waking state of consciousness or in sleep. For the first few times, the teacher has to do it and put the shisha in dhyana. Later, he learns how to do it himself. Realizing Atman is one thing, but to realize Brahman is something else. Can it be done in one life? It can be done, and it is done in one life. From the moment the training has begun, the progress continues. Sometime one gets the realization on one's deathbed. When I misunderstood you yesterday and thought that you were 65 and not 55 as you are in reality, I had a doubt in my mind. What doubt, Bhai Saheb? You see, of course, it is not appropriate to tell people how long they are going to live. Oh, Bhai Saheb, I interrupted, please do not make the training much longer now that you know that I am 10 years younger. Do not give me the realization on my deathbed. No, for those who are pledged to work, it is done quicker. You know, of course, that all the karmas have to be burned up. I told you that before. You will have to suffer injustice. You will be attacked. It will hurt. Yes, I know, and I am prepared for it. Speaking of a well-known Indian saint, now deceased, he said, he was not a maker of saints. There are very few in the world who are makers of saints. He was not a master of consciousness. He was the master of the unconscious, but he could not translate it into daily life. I had a dream, Bhai Saheb. May I tell it to you? I was in Pushpa's car. Her husband was driving. We came to a bridge on which a huge heap of furniture, ugly, old, dusty heap of furniture. The car had to go over it in order to cross the bridge, but the heap was too steep. The car could not make it. So the driver had turned the car to the left into a narrow lane, the entrance of which was barred by a large lorry. Putting the car into a low gear, he slowly approached it, very slowly and deliberately perforated the radiator of the lorry standing in front, with a pointed bar sticking out of the car. Out of the perforated hole, petrol began to pour swiftly. Pushpa was holding a vessel under it. Good, I said, this petrol will serve for our car to go over the bridge. And I woke up. Old furniture will mean the old conditioning which has to be overcome. The convenience is not yours. The car belongs to Pushpa. It means she is helping you by letting you stay in her house. She is helping you in this way. With the petrol taken from another car, the one in which you are traveling will be able to cross the bridge. Soon, he added, there will be no furniture on the bridge, and the car will cross over easily. 7th of November. Today we went for the samadhi, here meaning grave or place of rest, of his father, 7 miles from Kanpur. With a large lorry we went. It was fun. The whole of his family, many other people, neighbors came too, all in the lorries. A policeman arranged for our transport. The Sufi's tomb, in a white mausoleum of simple and sober proportions, is rather large, open on all sides, supported by columns. The floor is paved with red tiles. It was all lit with candles and small butter lamps. All around are fields, groups of trees in the distance. The sky was still pink after the sunset, softly pink with gray clouds. A strong, spicy fragrance was in the air, typical of the Indian plains. Many people were here, old disciples of the Guru, and far too many children. The atmosphere was very good, but not so dynamic as sometimes in the Guru's place. Too many people and too much disturbance. Children running about making noise. El said that I think this way because I don't understand. The grave of a Sufi is a highly magnetic place. After coming back, we sat in Guru's garden for a while. During supper, I nearly fainted at the table. Everybody commented on me getting so pale. Was afraid to fall down. It would have been very awkward, but it passed soon. 8th of November. Became aware of much peace lately. It came gradually, like a thief. I hardly noticed it at first. It is a different kind of peace from the one experienced the last few years. Before, it used to be a feeling of peace plus joy, all laughter, and life was good. Now it is like a deep, still pool full of silence and darkness. Very deep and very, very silent. It is such a neutral feeling that I quite understand that it could be a background to anything at all. For instance, joy can be impressed upon it, or love, or spiritual dryness, or loneliness. Anything can go with it, any other feeling or state, without even disturbing it. It has no color, seemingly no substance, no other feeling except a stillness, a tranquil peace. It makes me think of the depth of the ocean, always calm, even when huge waves are raging on the surface. Slept well last night. Was it because El told him the evening before that I nearly fainted? But we thought that he did not hear what she was saying. A crowd of people came pushing in, and she was interrupted.